everybody, and welcome to Garden Style. So today we're going to talk about hardy fuchsias. Yes, there is a difference between annual fuchsias, which you normally grow in baskets every year, and then there are hardy fuchsias. And they mean just that. They're hardier than your annual fuchsias, at least the annual fuchsias that we treat as annuals up here in Zone 8. So behind me here, you're going to see one of the specimens that has been here probably for the last 3 or 4 years, and he's just getting started as far as his blooms are concerned. But you'll see that they just hang here like little jewels, and this thing is about 3 to 4 feet high now, but he will actually be, I actually gave him a little trim just yesterday because he was sending out branches everywhere. But this will actually get about 6 feet high by the end of the summer, if I let it. And I have another specimen sitting here next to me that I also gave a haircut. So I'm going to talk a little bit about hardy fuchsias and the easiest way to grow them. They are actually really easy to grow. They may appear real delicate, but they're actually extremely tough plants. And unlike your annual cousins who like to live in the shade in a basket, these guys actually prefer to be out in the sun. Now, when I say sun, I mean mostly morning sun, because their exposure later in the afternoon may singe their leaves just a little bit. So I would say from about 4 o'clock on in the late afternoon, you may want them to be in dappled shade or in a shaded area by late afternoon. And that's exactly what happens to these guys. I've got trees right up here, and in the late afternoon when the sun is setting over there in the west, they do happen to be in dappled shade by the time 4 o'clock rolls around. That seems to be when they're at their happiest. Now, fuchsias, hardy fuchsias, come in so many different sizes, colors, varieties as far as the flowers are concerned. So I have several specimens here I wanted to introduce you to. Look at this guy. He's just a little guy and he's just going crazy. So most of your fuchsias will actually start blooming in the summer, probably about mid-June all the way until the first frost, which is why I love them so. They come on and give you color when a lot of things are starting to die out. A lot of your early spring blooming shrubs and a lot of your early spring perennials. Now, a lot of folks like to call these perennials. These are actually shrubs. And all the fuchsias that I'm showing you here today are from the see if I can pronounce this or not. Magellanica. Fuchsia Magellanica series. Good grief. See if I can spit that out. It's been a tough morning this morning. By the way, we just came off of about a week and a half of 90+ degree temperatures. And as you can see, these guys didn't get phased a bit. And this is the first day we have actually had a normal Washington weather day, and it is 73 degrees out. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect to be out in the garden. Anyway, got off on a little tangent there. So just about all the varieties here are from that series. Now this first one that I have here in my hand, it may be hard to tell, but the leaves here are a little more golden or a little more lime green than the species you see back here. You might be able to tell the difference in the camera, I don't know. But the two are from the same series, and the flowers are exactly the same. So we have the sepals and we have the corollas. We have the sepals here, which are providing all the color, and then the corollas, which actually start to curl back on the flowers. And they're just darling. And as you can see by the size of my hand how small these are. But don't let the smallness fool you, because they just get coated in them, as this one's already starting to do. So you can get lime green leaves like these. And one of my all-time favorites is a tricolored fuchsia. As you can see, it kind of has a light green variegated leaf with a pinkish tinge to it, and the stems themselves are actually kind of a deep pink. And again, gets loaded. And you can see as they grow, they start to get this kind of fountain shape to them, is what this guy is doing. And most of these, in fact, I think just about all of these, when I check their tags, will get about 36 inches tall. At least it claims it gets 36 inches tall. I've had a lot of these get 4 to 5 feet tall, and there are some varieties out there that can get up to 10 feet tall. Just depends on how long they have been in their planted area. And honestly, here in the Northwest, we provide the perfect conditions for them because they do like it a little cooler. They don't like it really, really, really hot. And if you do live in a really hot climate, then I would suggest having them in a dappled, shaded area rather than the full sun. Now, we all know that fuchsias can grow to be like trees in areas like California. In fact, we had 2 of them that would actually crawl their way up the trellis every year after cutting them all the way to the ground. And they would make their way across from our detached garage over to the house, and they would actually create shade in the summer because they would actually create a canopy in the courtyard space between the garage and the house. So they are amazing plants, and they grow amazingly fast. So most of these are hardy down to zone 6, zone 7. Make sure to read your tags so that you know exactly how hardy they can be in your particular area. They do like lots of moisture, well composted soil, lots of compost when you go to plant them, as they thrive on that. And they do benefit from a fertilizing in about July or August when they really get going with their blooms, start putting all that energy into them. They really benefit from that. But there are some super cute varieties here. This one has a real teeny, kind of a real skinny flower on it, as you can see there, with the hot pink and the purple on the inside. And then I found this guy. Now this is something you would think you would find on a hanging basket. This is actually a hardy fuchsia with a double flower. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? They're beautiful. Huge. Very healthy specimen here. This is called double Otto fuchsia. So if you're looking for this double variety, that's the name of it. And of course hardy to zone 7. You can even grow these in zone 6 if you make sure that the crowns are protected during the wintertime. Make sure to mulch over the tops of them. And I honestly let them die back during the wintertime. I don't do anything to them until early spring. So about March, I'll go in and I'll cut down all the dead twigs, because these are deciduous. They will lose their leaves during the wintertime. And I'll cut them clear to the ground. And this is what they'll do in a couple of months. They just grow right back up, put on their size, and then just get loaded with flowers. And they keep producing flowers all the way until the fall. So another reason why I'm so in love with them, because you just get constant color. And I'm finding myself planting more and more of these in dappled shaded areas, because once they're established, you don't have to fuss with them a whole lot. They do like moisture, they like to be watered, but these guys are actually pretty tough. I haven't had to go around and water these but once a week, even during our 90-degree temperatures. They thrive once they're established. Give them a good year or two, and then you'll find you don't have to fuss with them quite as much. Another variety that I brought out is where you get the red and the white flowers on the tips here. And this particular variety, as you can see here, the more sun he gets, the more bronzy colored the leaves will turn. And that's normal. That's just kind of their reaction to getting a lot of sunshine. But to me, it also adds another contrast out here in the garden. So hardy fuchsias can be amazing out here. Then I came across this cute little variety, and I saved him for last. This is a newer variety that came out. Look how teeny tiny these leaves are. But it is a hardy fuchsia, and it's going to be really hard for you guys to see this on the camera, but I will flash a close-up picture for you guys. But you're going to see just how teeny tiny these little flowers are on here. They're super small, but it gets a million of them all over it, and they're kind of a light pink, and it has the cutest little name. It's called Hardy Fuchsia. And it's a newer variety that has come out, and I definitely want to experiment with this one. Still trying to find the perfect place to where I want to put him. But he will also get about 24 inches tall. He doesn't get quite as tall as some of the other varieties, about a foot smaller. We'll see how that goes once I get it in the ground. He's hardy to zone 8, not quite as hardy as the others, down to zone 7. So that means he's hardy down to 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And all I'm going to do in the wintertime is I have natural pine straw that comes from a lot of our pine trees here and cedar trees, and I use that as the mulch over the crown. Not only does it help protect it during the wintertime, but it also helps keep it from getting too wet, which is a big concern for us up here in the Northwest. But some fun plants to play with in the garden. And once they start blooming, they are not going to quit. Now, for trimming, of course, I want to trim them in the early spring, all the way down to the ground. And I've been known on occasion to just give them a mild little haircut and just get their one little branch that's going way out into nowhere, trim that back so it behaves itself. But for the most part, you don't have to fuss with them. They're pretty much self-cleaning. And as long as you give them a good feeding during July and August, you will continue to get these flowers all the way until the first frost. Okay, what else can I tell you about these little guys? besides the fact that it attracts hummingbirds like there is no tomorrow. Let me tell you. They're not coming around me right now, but they were all over these things before I started setting up, so I think I scared them off a little bit. As soon as I walk away, they'll be all over these flowers. So what a great way to provide a natural sweet nectar to hummingbirds. Now, I remember as a kid, these big fuchsias that we had in our yard, we actually like to go up to them, and you could actually pull these stamens out. And on the very ends of them, there's a very sweet nectar, and that's exactly what the hummingbirds are going after as well. And the bees love them as well. So they're a great pollinator and a great hummingbird attractor into your yard, which is something we all can never seem to get enough of these days. And that's about all I can tell you about hardy fuchsias. Don't be afraid to grow them. They're not super delicate or dainty or require a lot of fussing. They just don't. Once you have them in the ground and they've been there for a year, you're going to find you're going to want more. You're going to want to continue to keep planting them in your dappled shaded areas. All right, you guys, so there's a quick blurb on hardy fuchsias for you. Also, I wanted to add to this video, if you have the annual fuchsia baskets currently hanging in the shade somewhere on your deck or your patio, feel free to bring those in the wintertime. If your garage does not get super cold, like down to 10 or 15 degrees, you can easily bring your hanging baskets or your annual fuchsia baskets into your garage and hold them over until the next spring. Not only does it save you a whole lot of money, that plant will probably be about twice the size the following year if you make sure it has good composted soil the following year. Honestly, I would take it out of its basket in the spring, ruffle up some of the roots down on the bottom, give it some new soil, new composted soil, and a good fertilizing, and it'll come right back for you. So don't be afraid to try it, at least. And of course, when you're holding them over in the wintertime, you don't want them to dry out completely, but you just keep them just barely moist until springtime. Then start watering them, full-on watering them again to get them moving and up and running. You can also take cuttings from fuchsias. It's super easy to do, and I'm sure there's a bazillion videos out there that will show you how to do it if you're interested in making some more for the following year. So give it a try. They're one of the easiest plants to grow, as well as root and hold over for the wintertime. All right, you guys, so there you go, hardy fuchsias. Run out there and find them. They're currently blooming at your nurseries, so that way you can get a real good idea what type of flowers you like and the different varieties that are available out there. Okay, of course, any questions or comments, there's lots of room in the description box down below, or you can go to my website at gardenstylenw.com, or you can send me an email at gardenstylenwest@gmail.com. I want to thank all the new subscribers. The channel keeps growing, and I've had some fabulous questions over the last couple of months, and doing my best to get back to you guys and answer you as quickly as I can. And looking forward to another video here in this coming week. And yes, a yard tour is on the way. So stay tuned, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.